Hello there and welcome to Tom's Warhammer Minis. Edmark Valoren is the Manticore Knight, apparently. He is the greatest mortal champion of the armies of Hammerhell Aksha. According to him, his arrogance is extreme as he tries to prove himself in the quest to cleanse the Jade Abbey. But the one thing we will grant him is he is a fantastic miniature in the Darkwater set. This guide showcases how to quickly paint him up, as well as providing some handy tips along the process. So grab your paints and your brushes and let's get hot. And we're starting with Edmark, a very awesome, cool pose knight. It's going to be really super simple and quick to paint. Mostly metallic details, but we'll start with the contrast paints first and give it a real nice quick job that looks absolutely fantastic on the tabletop. Ready to begin, the model is primed in White Scar and the Stirland Mud that I've been using on all the bases are already applied. So to begin with, we're going to focus on the red cloak. We want to get that kind of in place and locked in before we start. Now we need a nice bright vibrant red, and to begin with, I've just done an overall base coat of Baal Red. Always start from the top, work your way down. Gravity is your enemy when it comes to contrast paints. If you start at the bottom and you work your way up, all you're doing is applying a heavy amount of paint here, dragging it up, only for it to drain itself back down again and pull heavily. And red paints are notoriously thick. Baal Red though is a nice even base coat. You don't need to thin it down, just have a nice amount on your brush and just simply apply it straight on. You've also got this bottom section here. This bit here is going to be black, so it's not a big issue if you catch the Baal Red onto it. It's more important to get the Baal Red done first because you can get it into those little grooves around that part there. So take your time, get that done, let it dry, and we'll move on to the next step. Next up, we're going to shade our red cloak. We're going to do this skeleton horde detailing as well as the black. We're going to start the cloak. Now a lot of people, I see it online, they talk about how Baal Red is a great colour, but what do you shade it with? Some people do Blood Angels red, thin down, but there is a shade paint that works really nicely, and we're going to go through that now. The colour is Berserker Bloodshade, and this works really well. I would recommend though, because we've got this large flat surface area, and it is quite a strong paint, what I've done is thinned it down. It's a 1-to-1 mix of Berserker Bloodshade and Lahmium Medium. And essentially exactly like we did the Baal Red, start in one section, bring it all the way down and get this nice smooth even coat all over. With it thinned down in a 1-to-1, we've still got that bright vividness of the Baal Red, but as you can see, we've got this much better recessed shading. So do that all over the red, let it dry. Then we're going to move on to our black details, and the colour here is Black Templar. And we've got quite a few details here. You've obviously got the shield, and I've done the inside wood as well, because it's hard to see. Does it need to be wildwood? That's down to you. We can't actually tell from the box art what it is. But you've got the grip of the handle of the axe. You've got the sword holster. And then you've got this trim that's going all the way round, as you can see here. And then you've got the soft seal of the, his leather that's beneath the armor. So you've got the under the shoulder here, and you can get to the other side from that angle there. So get those details done as well. And then while all that's drying, we're going to move on to Skeleton Horde. Now there's only a few areas to do this. You've obviously got all this parchment coming out here from the helmet. That's the obvious one. You've also got the skull on the base. But there is a third one that's hidden, and that is another one of these, and it's just there, and that's the only angle you can get to it. It doesn't exist on the underside, it's just that bit there. So get those details done, and we'll move on to the next step. Next up, we're going to do his skin tone, and we're going to focus on getting the base done, because that's pretty much where our contrast paints end, because it's going to be mostly metallics after that. So to begin with, we are going to take Reikland Fleshshade. This is for his skin tone, which is practically non-existent because there's hardly anything to do at all. We don't want something too strong, and Reikland Fleshshade, being a shade paint, is nice, light and weak and perfect for what we want. It's just the eyeballs. It's literally that. And it's worth doing now. We don't want to spoil the metallic details later on. So just apply a small amount into the recess of those eyes and just put that in nicely. Moving on from that, we're going to take Basilicanum Grey. Now trust the pot, I've had to change it over but it is Basilicanum Grey. We're taking it in its purest form. We're not thinning it down. This is going over the rocks. So we've got the big one here on his foot, and there's a little one just by that foot there. While that's drying, you've got the sculpted soil there, and I've painted that in Cygor Brown. Then you've got the little strands of grass that's growing. So you've got one there, you've got a little one that's just there, and then you've got one there. And the colour here I've used is Ork Flesh. It's bright, it's vibrant, and it really makes it stand out. Now once that Cygor Brown is dry, if you've done the Stirland Mud like I have, obviously do the base the way you want to, but I've combined it together. So Stirland Mud is a lot darker than Cygor Brown, and we just want to tie the colours very neatly, and I've used Agrax Earthshade, simply shading it over the Stirland Mud, but also the Cygor Brown. But like I say, don't do that until the Cygor Brown is completely dry. Once that's all done, let it dry, we'll move on to the next step. Next up, before we go on to our metallic details, I'm going to do the highlighting, which is obviously what I've already done. But it's rather important if you're going to do it via dry brushing, which is what I'm showcasing here, because it's effective, it gets the model done quickly, especially if you want something looking awesome and ready to play the game. So, I'm going to talk for the dry brush colours, but the reason why we're doing it first is because they're very easy to get now, but if the metallics are in place, we end up catching them and spoiling all of that work. So, let's go for the colours. First of all, we're going to do our cape. Now, we've got a choice. We can either go down the orange route, or like I've done, we can go down the flesh tone route. Now the colour I've used here is Ungor Flesh, and there's a couple of reasons why. Flesh tones work really nicely. As you can see, you get this nice solid line. It's a great colour working with what we've done here. But there's another reason. You might not have brush soap, and if you use orange paints, they are notorious that they're a pain in the backside to clean. It's doable if you've got brush soap, absolutely it is. But you've got to then decide, have you got that resource? If not, it's a pain to clean your brush. However, if you've got a small dry brush, Ungor Flesh cleans off very easy like normal paints do, and it works really effectively as an edge highlight. So take your time, catch all of those areas. I did this one first, and it makes sense why, because the black, we're going to get the dry brush into those areas, sort of scraping along very gently. So talking of the black, the colour I've opted for here is Fenrisian Grey. It's a blue grey, and it's absolutely perfect, contrasting in that tone against that warm, vibrant red. So there's not much to do here. Essentially, you've got the angle edge of the shield there, catching in little areas, as you can see, of the black Templar down here. The main area we're going to be able to get is the grip of the handle here, and as well as the sword holster there. Nice and simple, and you can get into that shoulder pad. The other shoulder pad I'm not going to worry about. It's not really worth it because you're not really going to see it. It's tucked so far into that corner, it just feels a bit pointless. But if you want to edge highlight it, you can absolutely do that. Next one for dry brushing, while we're doing it, is Screaming Skull. Nice and simple. You've got the skeleton horde detail up here, and then you've got all the base. And I'm doing all the details on the base, including the green, the rock, and the mud. It also makes sense to dot the eyes if you're that kind of person who wants to do that, just because we don't want to spoil our metallic details once they're painted. And if you're copying along, I like to just go white scar for the eyeball, and then just a smaller dot of Abaddon Black. Next up, we're going to base coat our metallic details. There's only two here, gold and silver. And nice and simply, we'll just go through what they are. Just iron hand steel, keeping it nice and simple. I want it bright. And for gold, going very classic here with Retributor Armour. Now, there's no real methodology as such in applying it. However, I do have a recommendation. Because there's little bits, and I'm just using the helmet as an example here, where that little gold crest is on the top of it. It's actually easier just to do the iron hand steel first, where we can be sloppy. Obviously applying it, in a nice neat way like you would, but if you catch it, it's not going to matter because we can paint the gold over it. So I really would recommend, again, like here, just do all the silver details first, then worry about the gold. I just find it much easier, much quicker, a lot less faff, and that's the whole point of making things nice and simple. So get all that done and let it dry, and then we can shade it all. Next up, we're going to shade those metallic details. Now, to begin with, we're going to go with Reikland Fleshshade. This is the obvious one, classic for gold. Makes it nice and gives that warm, rich feeling, which is going to work really nicely in conjunction with the red cloak. These warm colours obviously need to be kind of offset, and that's why with the silver I'm going to go with Drakenhof Nightshade. Simply put, this is a blue shade paint, and that's the opposite in the colour wheel of red, obviously, and it just really makes it stand out. Plus, with Iron Hand Steel being so bright, non-oil just won't really cut it, whereas Drakenhof Nightshade does. So, apply those, let it dry, and we'll move on to the next step. And finally, we're going to finish off our model. That's going to include some dry brushing highlights, as well as the freehanding squares, which we'll get to at the end. So to begin with, we want a bright gold that's really going to pop and make it just really shiny again, because obviously when we put the Reikland Fleshshade on, it's great as a recess shade and it warms, but it mattes, and we don't want that to happen too much. So the colour I've gone here for is Auric Armour Gold, and I've applied this via a dry brush. Just make sure you really, when you're wiping the paint off into a paper towel to make it that dry bit before we texture it, just make sure you really work it into the bristles, because it is quite a sort of odd paint in the sense it's not really designed for dry brushing, but it absolutely works for dry brushing, if you know what I mean. So just make sure you get all of it off so that when you're dry brushing on the paper towel, there's nothing coming off, and then apply it. And as you can see, it just really buffs that gold perfectly. For the silver, nice and simple, Stormhost Silver. We're going bright on the gold spectrum, we're going to go bright on the silver spectrum. Then we've got the squares, which are a bit unique and a little bit tricky, because obviously it's a tiny little space, but they are easy to do. Now, I'm not going all the way along, in the sense they fade out anyway when you look at the box art. Quite simply, I've taken Berserker Bloodshade, and with the tiniest amount on the tip of a small airbrush, I'm just applying a little blob that's kind of edging out towards a square. Probably when you zoom in, it's not quite a square, but to our eyes, what we see, we just, it's a square. We'll call it a square. But it's nice and simple, and it gives us control rather than applying paint that's too thick or too thin, because if it's not right, if it gets too much, we can just quickly wipe it off. It's as simple as that. And Berserker Bloodshade is the matching colour pretty much for what we see on the box art. With that done, he is complete. Obviously paint the rim of your base, make it nice and neat, and we can add some tufts or flowers, because we've got this nice open space here as well as at the back. And there we have it. Edmark Valoren is complete, and it's quite a good model, in the sense you don't really appreciate it from the box art until you got it in your hands. It is a great model. It is fun to paint, it's quick, it's easy, it's simple. Now, if this video has helped you, if if it's inspired you, then do please give it that like, and if you can, share it too, because sharing means other people see it who don't know about the channel. They find things that help and support them. I often say it's not about fame, it's about supporting the Warhammer community. And if you haven't, then do consider subscribing. It just means you get to see the latest videos when they come out, more likely to happen. And it helps to support the channel. And supporting the channel, supporting me, means I get to continue supporting you, the awesome Warhammer community. So, until the next time, do look after yourselves, and happy hobbying.